Through the midst of the Annamite Range, on the high plains of northern Laos, lies a mystery forgotten by time. 2,500 years ago, this was not wilderness, but a thriving corridor linking the Mekong to the sea. Iron Age pioneers chose these high, open grounds as the first light illuminated the grasslands. They began a colossal undertaking, planting stones in the endless sea of grass. At night, bonfires danced with the stars. Amidst these silent arrays of monoliths, the embryo of civilization was awakening. This was a struggle between fire and force. Artisans heated the rock with fire, then doused it with cold water. The bones of the earth cracked in the agony of thermal shock. They drilled into the heart of the monoliths, hollowing them out bit by bit with rough iron chisels. Each jar weighed tons and stood 3 meters high. It was an unbelievable engineering miracle. Whether the rounded rims or the exquisite lids, all were soaked in the sweat of artisans, dragged by elephants, pulled by crowds, until they stood firmly on the ceremonial grounds. What were these giant jars for? Archaeologists tell us to look towards death. They were temporary stations for the departed on their way to the underworld, distillers of souls. Glass beads from afar, exquisite bronzes, on flickering ceremonial nights. The ancients believed souls would rise from these stone jars, returning to the stars. Looking down on this plain, hundreds of stone jars form a mysterious matrix. This is a star map of life and death carved into the earth. The masters of the jars did not only deal with the dead. They were also skilled artisans and merchants. Beneath wooden stilt houses, looms clicked ceaselessly, and iron furnaces sparked. This was a hub of trade. Seashells from the coast, carnelians from India, bronze mirrors from China. Herds of elephants carried goods, connecting the civilization network of ancient Asia. This was a wealthy and powerful tribe. They celebrated harvests in the sun, worshipped ancestors beside the jars, and enjoyed their own golden age. But around 500 AD, everything came to an abrupt halt in the quarries. Half-carved jars were abandoned. Houses rotted in the rainy season as people fled in haste. Was it plague, war, or climate change? Mud buried the jars, grave robbers took the ornaments. The backward glance of the last inhabitants was filled with endless desolation. The forest took over the plains. The jars became dens for animals. Civilization snapped, leaving only the wind sobbing at the jar mouths, whispering unsolved mysteries. Over the next 1,000 years, nature launched a counterattack. The tropical rainforest swallowed the plains like a green wave, giant strangler fig roots, like pythons, wrapped around and cracked the rocks. The jars became miniature ecosystems filled with rainwater, covered in moss, deep in the jungle. They stood alone against the erosion of time. Until the 19th century, when explorers' machetes parted the leaves, these giant jars, asleep for 2,000 years, were once again exposed to the world's gaze. Yet, modern civilization brought not protection, but destruction. During the Vietnam War in the 20th century, this became the most heavily bombed place on Earth. Bombs fell like rain, tearing the ancient ceremonial grounds into a cratered moonscape. Two-thousand-year-old stone jars lie side by side with unexploded ordnance from decades ago. One is about worshipping ancestors. The other is about destroying descendants. Wildflowers grow in bomb craters. Villagers plant flowers in shell casings. Life goes on. But beneath every step lurks the shadow of death. Today, we re-examine this landing with LiDAR. On the screen, craters are erased. Fallen jars are reset. We try to restore its original majesty. When all the jars are connected once more, we are amazed to find they are still conversing with the stars. This is a shared heritage of humanity, worth guarding with our lives. Bombs will eventually rust, but the stone jars will endure. Deep in the forest, this massive star map will forever silently point to the firmament. This is the Plain of Jars.